Hi everyone, this is Paul here from the Magdalene Centre. Today I'm doing the astrology report for the Mercury Retrograde in Leo, which begins on the 26th of July and finishes on the 19th of August. And I'll be outlining some of the key themes that this particular transit brings up for us and some of the insights we may potentially be learning at this time. Before I do that though, I just want to clarify that the astrology of the Mercury Retrograde doesn't control us in any way. It just helps us to understand what kind of lessons and insights are on offer for us to be learning at this time, what kind of themes are unfolding in the collective consciousness around us, so it gives us a bit of context as to why people may be reacting in certain ways, and it gives us a bit of a roadmap to help us know ourselves at a deeper level and to move closer to who we are and living out our truth in our lives. But as I've said before, it requires our conscious participation. It doesn't happen automatically. Now, in terms of Mercury retrograde in Leo, this is a time for slowing down, and where we may start having issues in terms of trying to communicate properly, because Mercury obviously deals with communication. But more importantly, Mercury is about perception and our thinking patterns, and it's all to do with the rational side of the mind, so the left brain, if you like, if you want to use a simplistic kind of interpretation. And when Mercury goes retrograde, it's about resting that logical, rational side of the mind to allow the more intuitive side to come into conscious awareness, and so we develop a more holistic mindset where logic and intuition are brought together. Now, with Mercury in Leo, this is about our relationship with creativity, and it's about expressing ourselves as truthfully and honestly as possible, but expressing who we are and develop a mental understanding of who we are and a better mental relationship with creativity. It also is about understanding what is our relationship with play and creativity. I mean, one of the things that is a major problem these days is our relationship with play. It tends to get denigrated, but it's like the old adage, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. It's, do we ever embrace play? Do we allow ourselves to clock off from work, or are we always working and never give ourselves a chance to just let the hair down, to chill out, relax, and just play for the sake of it rather than playing with some objective in mind? So it's freeing up the creative process through letting stagnant thought forms around it to be let go of, and to recognise where we're stagnating in life and where we're lacking spontaneity, and working on dealing with it, working on connecting with our creative impulses. Because the thing is, we may believe that we're not creative, but in actual fact we are. We all have that divine creative spark within us. We all have that spark of creativity that's just waiting to be nice and flame. That spark never goes, it's always there. Why not explore it? Why not get curious? Leo is also about the childlike nature that we all have within us. It doesn't mean that we become childish and irresponsible. It just means that we embrace that curiosity, we embrace that playful nature that allows us to explore things in a safe way, or explore ideas without there being any real consequence to it. And through developing this creative thinking process, it allows us to come up with inventive solutions to existing problems. Creativity is a core part of problem solving. We're so used to trying to solve problems in a very conventional kind of way, or following conventional logic. But the thing is, as said by Einstein, that a problem cannot be solved at the same level of consciousness that created it in the first place. It requires us to elevate our consciousness beyond that, and this involves connecting with imagination, connecting with play, connecting with our creativity, and seeing the same problem from new angles. But this requires us to be playful and inventive in the first place. It requires us to free ourselves from the need to conform to a set way of thinking, and instead move to a more expansive or playful way of seeing things. Because through playing with things, a lot of solutions make themselves known. I mean, for me personally, if this problem presents itself, I tend to rather than necessarily knowing what I'm doing, I find it easier to kind of play around with the issue at hand, and I usually stumble across a solution. This is this is a key part of why play is so important. Is a lot of the problems that we're seeing around us can no longer be solved through conventional means. We now need to be looking at a higher way of looking at things. But this requires that we connect with that creative side in the first place and liberate our creativity from external control, so we don't. Because the thing is, with creativity, a lot of people struggle with it, not because they're not creative, but because creativity is often is defined in a very narrow kind of way. But creativity isn't just about our ability to paint things, it's also about the things, how we write things, it's about imagination, it's about how we move. I mean, dancing is also creative, so whatever form of creativity is natural for who we are, or is us the best outlet for us, we need to be cultivating it in our lives so that we don't get bogged down in working all the time. We learn to relax, to be playful, to be childlike and innocent. Because through playing around and being a bit goofy, not taking ourselves so seriously, that it lightens the atmosphere. We tend to just shine much more, and encourages other people to just relax, to loosen, let those walls down, to relax the guards, and to embrace play as well. But some people are naturally playful because they haven't been conditioned out of it, or they've refused to allow themselves to be conditioned by external influence, whilst others struggle with creativity because of the various conditioning they have, or various limiting beliefs about creativity. So part of this will be about understanding what beliefs do we have about creativity that limit our own creative self-expression, and also what fears do we have around rejection. Because one of the things with creativity is a naturally vulnerable process, because we're creating something and it's an expression of who we are, and therefore if someone rejects it, that can have a major issue. So one of the things we could potentially focusing on is reflecting on where have we tried creating things in the past and we got denigrated for it for some reason, and as a result we stopped trying to create things because we thought we weren't good enough. So we all have that artistic capacity within us in one way or another, whether it be through writing, through drawing, through music, through movement. Creativity is a very broad area, and it's a very important side of things. So we're all naturally creative beings, we all have that creative spark within us, and it's the responsibility of each and every one of us to turn that spark into a flame, to create that warmth and that brightness around us through embracing our own creative potential, of exploring how we express ourselves, and learning to express ourselves in a more authentic way. So we're not pretending to be something that we're not invested in a persona, we're being who we are. So a key part of it is also moving beyond being human thinking and becoming human being. It's learning to just be in life, rather than always having to be doing stuff, always having to meet other people's expectations. Sometimes we just need that time to be who we are, rather than always doing something. Because all growth within our lives is the balance between being and becoming. The moon is more of the becoming side of things. It's taking that spark and working with it to elevate it or turn it into the flame, and to transform who we are in the process, whilst the sun is all about being. But this requires that we operate from the core of who we are, rather than just the egoic shell. It's about moving beyond ego and into the core of who we are, where the creative energy wells from within us. Because the creative impulse doesn't come from outside ourselves, it's already within us. But obviously some forms of creativity can be damaging, other forms are life affirming. So it's learning to connect with that creative force, but it's recognising that creative force isn't our own, it's something that comes from the divine, and if we align ourselves with it and become a vessel for that creative force, we then use it wisely so that we're creating art in our lives that is life affirming rather than life destroying. By creating art, I'm not talking about necessarily painting or things like that. Our entire lives are a piece of art in one way or another. We're all creating our own lives at any given point, and our lives are our ultimate masterpiece, if you like. But it's our responsibility to make sure we're creating what we want rather than creating what we don't want. So Mercury Retrograde gives us this opportunity to develop a better rational understanding of our own creative potential, to free up the creative process and embrace more spontaneity rather than being confined by limited thinking, and to develop a better work-play balance in life. We all have the potential to play, and you just look at the way children are. They're naturally playful, they're naturally creative, and if they don't have any kind of toys or anything like that, or any defined creative process with them, they'll just find something. They'll use their imaginations to alleviate boredom. So part of Mercury Retrograde may also be our relationship with boredom. Do we always seek external stimulus to keep ourselves stimulated, or can we allow boredom to creep in and let that boredom then nag us to start becoming more playful, being more creative? It's learn to stop consuming things all the time and instead learn to create things to express who we are rather than just constantly consuming what's given to us in our downtime. So obviously work is a necessary part of life. It's something that we all have to do at one level or another, but we all also need to relax at times and learn to be playful again if we're not already playful, because when we embrace that playful nature, creativity flows much more strongly. We're much more tend to have much more emotional warmth as well, because we're being playful rather than judgmental and criticising, and we're more likely to radiate love and compassion to other people and encourage each other to shine a light. So the more we work on ourselves and turn that creative spark into a flame, the more emotional warmth and the more fire we give off towards people around us. This isn't the fire of destruction, this is the fiery warmth that warms the people around us, encourages them to relax and to feel calm again, and to encourage one another to be more playful and to exercise our creative potential to the max. But as I said at the start, it's the responsibility of each and every one of us to go through this process ourselves and work with it. If we don't do that, then we're not going to move any further forward, because astrology isn't force things to happen. Events around us manifest in line with what astrology is doing, or highlight certain lessons for us, but they're ultimately manifestations of our internal landscape. So the more we work on our internal side and embrace our creative potential, the more readily we express it externally, and the more easily we align with the divine creative force and let it guide us in terms of what we choose to create within our lives. So I heard use of guide for Mercury Retrograde. It's quite a bit to take on board, but the key thing to take away is that we need to be learning. If we struggle in areas like play and creativity, this is a time for us to reflect on it and to allow ourselves to relax and just be for once in our lives, rather than always doing things, always rushing around trying to make ends meet. Sometimes we need to take that time to just slow down, relax, take a chill pill, and just engage in the more playful side of our nature again. We all have it, but for whatever reason, a lot of us end up being conditioned out of it in one way or another. But obviously conditioning relies on us allowing it to happen, so we all play a part in allowing that conditioning to dominate our lives. But if we start questioning that conditioning and letting go of it and allowing that creative side to come to the fore again, it doesn't necessarily mean that we have to be masters of creativity, but if we learn to embrace our creative side again and embrace play, life becomes rewarding again. Life becomes more about enjoying things. Also, obviously we still have to do work and life. We still have various tasks we need to fulfill on a daily basis. If we can take time out to play or just relax in general and allow the creative impulse to well up within us and to then express it, so it's not just an impulse, we're actually converting it through action into results around us. By allowing it to come up, we can then hone it and improve it. But if we don't allow that creative side to come up in the first place, we won't have anything to work with. So we owe it to ourselves to embrace creativity and play, to relax, chill out in life, and learn to become comfortable with who we are and expressing who we are, and not be reliant on other people's affirmation or validation of our creative process. Not everyone will appreciate the same creative things. Some people value it, others won't. That's just life. But if we learn to value our own creative side and to nurture it, we then empower ourselves to shine our own light, to be the best versions of ourselves, and to create the things in life that we want rather than creating what we don't want. So may Mercury Retrograde bring you many insights and bring lessons that allow you to become more creative and playful. Take care and be blessed.